Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we are here today doing our NHL 25-26 season award predictions. That's going to be the main focus of this episode. And yeah, I mean, unless you have any other news you want to talk about beforehand, I suggest we can just jump right in if we want.
Yeah, I think that's all we're doing for this episode. Going to just keep it nice and condensed on what we're doing. The only rule that we kind of set for this when doing these award predictions, and it's all the major player awards, and then we're also doing the President's Trophy and Stanley Cup. The only rule we did is just you can't pick who won an award last year. So just to kind of make it a little bit more fun and not just picking the same guys that just won or something like that for any of them. So it can be players that have won the award previously, but it just can't be the guys that won last year.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I think we made that rule. I do think it was the first time we did it on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure we made that rule the season after McDavid put up like 151 points, because we were like, he's going to be our answer for like 5 of these if we don't make a rule. So
yeah,
but with that, I'll give you the floor. Which award do you want to start with?
To start with, let's start with a fun one. The Rocket Richard, most goals next year.
Yeah, that's the first one I had on my list.
There we go. Do you want to kick it off? Do you want to throw out who you got?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, we might as well go back and forth. I'll start us off. You picked the topic. I have Connor McDavid for the Rocket. He said during the offseason that he wants to score more goals this year. He's had a 65 goal year. He followed it up with 100 assists. He said this offseason that he prefers scoring goals, and if he just decides to, he's going to score at will. So, especially with Draisaitl saying that he's hoping to be in the Selke conversation this season. So, maybe his goal scoring falls off a bit. Probably not. But if McDavid wants to lead the league in goals, he will.
Yeah, that's why is Connor McDavid, and strictly basically because, like you said, he is more focused on wanting to get goals, and if Connor McDavid wants to do something, he absolutely can do it. So, we've seen him do it before, and if his mind's set on just going out and racking up a bunch of goals and winning the Rocket, he absolutely could do it. So for me, that was a pretty easy one. There's other ones out there, Draisaitl potential, and he just won it last year. Alex Ovechkin, I mean, probably would have won it last year if he didn't deal with the longest injury of his career. Kaprizov would have been in there, if not for the injuries he dealt with. Austin Matthews, if healthy, he's
goal scoring.
I think
machine.
The favorite still going into the season, right? So there's lots
I almost
of
thought
answers
about
out there, but
like he doesn't have the surrounding talent anymore. But at the same time, he didn't last year, and he put up over 100 points, and like somebody's got to score goals for him. Teams are probably going to be playing their. He might be facing a lot more backups than he's used to as well throughout his career. So
that's very true. Yeah, I
couple hat tricks on nights not expected.
Yeah, I think he's going to be up there, but yeah, it really just came down to not enough talent around him, and that's going to make it tough. There's still Boston still has good talent. Like, it's not like they're going to be some dumpster fire, but compared to who some of these other guys get to play with, Pastrnak just doesn't have that luxury. And again,
a top power play
across a full season, you got to be able to do consistently. And for Pasternak's case, that is carrying your team basically consistently every night, and that's a tough task to do. So I didn't really think of Pastrnak too much, but again, McDavid makes the most sense because he wants to score more goals this year, and when he wants to, we know he's capable of. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, can only do so much to contain this guy, and
he's only going to play Jacob Slavin twice a year, so I guess he's probably one of the best guys who has the best chance to stop him, and even then,
it
didn't work at the Four Nations.
Tough. Yeah. It's tough. So yeah, that one was a pretty easy one for me there to start it off.
Um, you picked that one. I'm just going to keep going down the list as I have it in order since I had the Rocket at the top. The second one I had is the Art Ross. And I can almost guarantee we have different players for this one.
The Art Ross. Hold on. Messed up with the timestamp. Let me just fix this here. All right. It's probably good. The
Yeah,
Art
it's fine.
Ross. If you don't know hockey or you're just learning or whatnot, Art Ross, most points in the regular season. This guy probably would have won it last year if he didn't get injured. He's due for a big contract this year, potentially the biggest.
I like
Kirill
it.
Kaprizov for me.
I was kind of close to picking him. I thought about him. I thought about it and I
The
was like,
main reason I ended up going with Kaprizov is there is rumors swirling around that there's a couple teams out there that potentially might be tampering, and trying to already talk with Kaprizov, talk with his agent, and try and stall and stop any negotiations happening in Minnesota so they can get a chance to get him. And again, it's like the reporters say, there's no way to prove it, but they know it's happening. And it's coming
yeah,
from some pretty credible sources. So, I'm just looking at it and who are some of the guys that always have great years, guys in career years, especially when it's a superstar. Looking at
yep.
what Kaprizov did last year
Contract years are huge.
already before the injury. And then you add on top of that now that I think Minnesota is just a better team overall. Uh,
A
Sky's
year
the limit
older
for
for
him
all their
this
guys.
season. And yeah, if you got other GMs, other players, other coaches, s- sticking their hands in your cookie jar and whatnot, trying to get you to go over there, you're gonna want to be like, I'm gonna go out there and win the Art Ross, and then I can ask for whatever from any of these teams.
Yeah.
Because he obviously knows there's a lot of interest already out there. So that's
Well,
I'm going with Kirill Kaprizov for
I
the Art
think
Ross.
I think he was either my second or third choice for it. Um, I would have picked Kucherov if I could pick repeats, just because he's so good at racking up points and the team is so good now. But um, I was very close to Kaprizov, and also there have been a lot of people saying that the Rangers are really trying to bring back Panarin and trying to get him to sign a sweetheart deal to stick around. I mean, a team that would want Kaprizov, if you can free up some room there, like could definitely see. I can't imagine that's one of the few teams that would be above a little bit of tampering here or there. Um, but a team
Chicago's
very,
in the mix for the tampering, by the way. They're kind of the main one getting
yeah,
the
I would
the,
imagine so.
the points at them.
And if you know what, if the league found out that they were tampering, what are they going to
Ottawa
do?
say bye to your first round pick.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like it's
They love fucking
Minnesota.
over Ottawa.
The team does not, or the league does not really care that much about Minnesota. They care a great deal about the Blackhawks. They've had recent controversy all over the place already. I think they just settled out of court with another assault case. So, like,
Yeah,
the last thing they'd
very
want is
recently.
to acknowledge if they found tampering. So they're kind of bulletproof, as weird as it is. But
Yeah.
um, I this might be my biggest heart over brain pick. And
Oh
it's not
no.
because
Oh
I
no.
particularly love this player.
Oh
Like
no.
they're not on Tampa. But
I
they're
know. I think I know who you're going with though.
for some reason I just can't shake the feeling that Jack Hughes is going to win the Art Ross this year.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jack Eichel. So when you said Jack, I was like, wow. Okay, Jack Hughes. Oh, that one I
Jack
can get
Hughes.
more behind, honestly. I can get more behind that one.
Yeah. Obviously biggest thing is health. You can't have a conversation about how good he is in the league without his health because he hasn't been healthy for a full season for quite a bit, but very similar. We picked pretty similar guys for this. Two guys that were kind of in the race for the Art Ross and for the Hart, and they both got injured. And well, that's done once you've missed 10 or more games, and they both missed
Yeah.
like 30 plus. So yeah, if Jack Hughes can put together a full healthy season, that that team is looking poised to do some damage. I think people, pretty much everyone included, kind of jumped the gun on thinking how soon the Devils would be good because they overachieved the 1 year, made the playoffs. But I think at some point, they've got to end up taking that big step. And I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Again, yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? When you talk about Jack Hughes, you can talk about how good of a player is, all these things, but you're always also going to talk about the injuries because that's a part of it, right? You know that
You got to play games.
when he's playing, he is going to be great, but you're also sitting there like, how many games are we going to get out of him? Are we going to get a full 82? Are we going to get 40, 60? Are we going to lose him for the playoffs, right? Like that's kind of always a big conversation around Jack Hughes. And obviously I think after this past year, and how poised the Devils were for a great year, good playoff run, and it kind of got derailed completely, not just because of Jack Hughes injuries, there was other ones, but the Jack Hughes one was the main one. I think he's going to come in this season, and
for a while.
Yeah, Dougie
Number
missed a
one
lot of time. I think Jack Hughes is going to come in and have he doesn't really have to prove much. Like we already know how good he is, but he's going to want to prove that he can play a full season, or at least 75 games. If you miss the occasional games because you're banged up, that's fine. Happens with almost every player.
If he plays 75-ish, like that's the team will be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine. And the biggest thing is being healthy and good to go come playoff time is the biggest thing as well. But yeah, I think he's gonna have a lot that he feels like he wants to prove in terms of health wise, and then being able to produce and stay healthy all year. Absolutely, he could be right in that conversation.
And they got lots of guys that are also going to take a step with him. Timo Meier's trying to get back on track. Brought has looked incredible over the last couple of seasons, and Nico Heischer's just keeps getting better. They'll probably be mostly on the power play together, not 5v5.
Their decor is
even
phenomenal.
Even Luke Hughes, assuming he gets signed soon. Which
whatever of the
I imagine
9 guys they play that is on their roster for defense, you got a great blue line. Like they're so loaded with talent, and when Jack Hughes is going to be just surrounded by great talent, so that makes it that much easier for him.
Yeah,
I like that pick quite a bit, actually. I think that one's got a lot of potential.
I like that we both kind of went a bit off the board with that one. Like they're not crazy picks, but like most people would have said McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Matthews.
A little bit off the board picks, which I like to do around here. I think it adds to the excitement. And then, but then at the end of the year, we sit there and we're like, man, we suck. We got none right. It's like, this is why, because we get so excited about just going rogue here. And what can you do? Next up, what's the next one you got on your list here? We'll just go through the list that you've got.
Actually, one of them that I have next kind of ties in with a couple other ones. So I would
save that.
I would be good to move down the list a little bit, but let's do something like the Calder.
The Calder. Again, if you're new around these parts or anything, Calder Trophy goes to the best rookie of the year.
Yeah, this one is not stats based, just voted on by the.
Well, I mean, it is kind of stats based, but it's not like
it's not like the Art Ross where it's a yes or a no you won it.
Yeah, it's basically not a one that. Yeah, it's basically not an award that's won at the end of the regular season, like right then and there. It's one that gets voted on.
Yeah.
It's just by a bunch of different writers around the league, I'm pretty sure.
The Writers Association, right?
I will let you kick it off here. I think I know who you're picking, but I'll
I would
let
imagine
you have your freebie.
I would imagine so, yeah. I am going with Ivan Demidov. I went a little outside the box with some of my picks, but this is the most obvious one that I think I picked. I believe his odds to win right now are like 2.7 to 1 right now in most places, and like the next closest guy is like 14 to 1. Like he's the overwhelming favorite. It just seemed foolish not to pick him.
Yeah, you don't even have to explain. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
And frankly, it'd be crazy not to pick him, honestly, which of course I didn't do. I did not pick Ivan Demidov. If you want to call me a homer, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I think we get almost kind of a battle of last year between a Sharks player and Habs player. I'm going with Michael Misa,
I love it.
second overall pick in this last year's draft. And the main reason that I'm going with Misa is because, first of all, because he's signed, which means, he's not going to play college or university hockey. And it makes no sense for him to go back to the OHL when he just dominated that league the entire year, like just wiped over everybody. And the biggest thing is then
as well.
And the biggest thing is the Sharks made, kind of the unofficial but official announcement that Will Smith is moving to the wing. And the talk all off season was they wanted Will Smith playing more at center because that was kind of that was his plan for this year. But then all of a sudden he's now, and he even announced, he said, yeah, I'm going to be playing, right wing this year. And then it was like, well, shit. So that basically means they've kind of made the decision now that Michael Misa is, going to be your second line center.
The 1-2
because you don't really have
Misa.
Yeah, and you don't really have anybody else that can play that one. And yeah, the Sharks are going to be a bad team, obviously. Didn't affect Celebrini last year though. Still put up great points, and Misa's going to be coming into a position
goes
where
to a guy on a bad team,
yeah, and Misa's going to be playing. You can take your pick. He's going to have one of, if not potentially two of, Eklund, Toffoli, Will Smith as his wingers. Going to be getting power play time. Going to be getting lots of playing time in that top six because again, they don't have that many great forwards, so you kind of got to rely on your top dogs. So I think he's going to be in a spot where he's relied on a lot from day one early, and I think he's going to still have good talent in that top six because the Sharks only have so much talent up front that I think they're going to kind of want to stack it up at the top in their top two lines. So I think he's going to be put in a good spot to succeed. And yeah, I mean, hell, if he can do anything close to what he was doing in the OHL last year, he's got a very good chance to be very productive.
He's a big body,
right out of the gate from day one. I would say about average. I think he's about like 6 foot, in that 185 range or something.
Okay.
Obviously, you're going to put on some...
I thought he was like 6'4" or something.
No. Obviously, going to put on some weight.
Am I thinking of Porter Martone? Is he a big boy?
I don't think he was necessarily super tall, but he was like built. Yeah, he had the weight that he could throw around. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I really do like that pick. I'm a big fan of Michael Misa. I thought there was potential he might end up going first overall, but Schaefer's stock just never wavered. So I could definitely
Schaefer's
see that.
Even a decent shout. There's so many guys you could go with. Schaefer, Ryan Leonard. I'm not going to say Gabe Perreault because he's on the Rangers and he's a rookie, so
yeah,
he's probably just going to get beat up all the time because they don't care for rookies there. Sam Renzel in Chicago.
Snuggerud
is, I almost was kind of debating him. Z Boyum, Minnesota.
Zane Parekh.
Going to be great. Zane Parekh. Like there's a lot of good rookies this year. So
I almost went with Zane Parekh, but at the end I was like, you know what? It just anything I see out of Montreal right now is about Demidov. Like they're so excited for him. I think he's going to jump into the league and immediately be playing 19 or more minutes a night. Like I feel like he's going to be one of their top guys right away.
And Montreal, it's going to be absolute chaos in Montreal. As crazy it is, if Demidov has a season that Michkov had last year. Michkov had a decent year last year, but he came in as the overwhelming favorite. And he was the favorite going into last year, and didn't even end up being a finalist. I think Demidov will still be a finalist, but it seems like Montreal fans are hyping this kid up so much that if it's not day one out of the gate, like multi points per game, they're going to be like, oh fuck, and it's like. I think he's still going to be a great player, but I just hope that they're not building up unrealistic expectations for, again, a guy that, like, he's going to be a rookie coming in. Like, they're going to have off nights. They're going to have bad games. And
they overachieved making the playoffs last season as well.
And with Montreal now, they're not going to be a team where, where Boston's going to be this year, where they're going to be facing a lot of backups and whatnot. Like teams are going to be more ready and focused for them because teams are going to start to take them seriously because it's like, well, shit, they made the playoffs last year. They kind of gave Washington a bit of a run there. Like they're a good team. We
They're
can't
only getting better
go easy on them. Yeah. So, and we know how passionate Montreal fans are and how much they love their team. That's awesome. But I hope they don't build up these expectations that aren't obtainable in the slightest by any rookie even.
Yeah.
Because I know they're very excited for him, as they should be.
Yeah.
They should be
and
very excited.
That's the plight of being a hockey fan, right? To build up those unreasonable expectations. I heard that apparently Connor Geeky spent like 8 weeks this offseason skating with Barb Underhill, and I immediately had to do my best to temper my expectations that he's not going to be Eric Lindros out there this season. So, you know, even if he doesn't reach it, that's fine. Just like I'm hoping that we don't see, 10 games into the season if he only has 4 points. I'm hoping we're not seeing like fire Marty St. Louis signs or something like that. Like don't
Yeah, which
so this just happens, right? We don't need to blame somebody if it's not going perfect. It's a process.
That's exactly it. 100%. But with that, we can move on from the Calder Trophy. What do we got next here? What's next on the list?
Let's go to the Selke Trophy.
Selke.
I think there's a good chance we have the same guy here. Spoilers, it's a guy.
Yeah, it's a player. I guess I'm first for this one, actually. A lot of guys you could go with. For me, I went with the one that is going to be in the conversation, and again, they're just dying to give this guy one. I'm going with Nico Hischier. The season he had last year was phenomenal. How many goals did he put up last year? It was pretty impressive as well.
I can bring it up for you right here.
If you can beat me to it.
He had 35 goals and 69 points.
In how many games?
75.
75. So just a bit under a point per game, a 30-goal guy. And his numbers probably dipped a little bit with the Jack Hughes injury because, yeah, they don't play 5-on-5, but they're on the power play together. And that helps, right? Obviously. Yeah, I think Nico Hischier, we already know, plays a terrific defensive game. He's really starting to break out more and more offensively again. This really could determine on Jack Hughes' health, like we talked about before. If New Jersey can stay healthy, Hischier has all this great talent, could easily be a 80 to 90 point guy, and with his defensive numbers, because again, we know they're just dying to give him at least one.
They want to establish him as one of the next big two-way forces in the league,
especially with Kopitar retiring at the end of the year. Someone's got to.
I was close to picking him. I almost went Kopitar, just thinking like maybe he has one last big season and stuff, but some of the moves they made
on it. Yeah,
and
I like in a rough spot.
I did have Jack Hughes winning the Art Ross, so I did also have Nico Hischier winning the Selke. I think they're both going to have a fantastic year, and the Devils are going to go off. And these are similar predictions to what you made, I think, 2 years ago, and it ended up sinking your predictions for the most part. So hopefully I have better luck with it.
I didn't have any repeats, I don't think, from the same teams. No, I did. Never mind, I did. But yeah, it's there's not even really much to explain with it. It's kind of right there. We know how good he is, both offensively, defensively, assuming the Devils are healthy. And again, we know they want to give him at least one pretty soon here. So
yeah,
now's the time. I think this is the year that Hischier gets a Selke.
Yeah, and it is a little bit interesting. It's not very fun news, but Barkov went down with a leg injury in practice earlier today and had to be helped off by some trainers. It didn't look very good. It was a no contact injury. He was just deking and just kind of collapsed a little bit, and one of his legs did not look like it went the right way. So obviously Barkov, the reigning Selke winner, so neither of us were able to pick him for this, but it still kind of opens things up more for
If
our
he ends
picks
up
here.
missing some time, absolutely
Yeah.
could
I
could
it
shake things up.
it made me think a little bit harder about picking a guy like Sam Reinhart, but
Mm,
once I had Jack Hughes for the Art Ross, I was like, you know what, Nico Hischier for the Selke.
yeah, just ride with your boys.
Yes, sir.
Um, Alrighty, well, we can move on from the Selkie. Again, not much to discuss with that. What are we moving on to here?
Let's move on to the Norris Trophy.
On to the Norris Trophy. Norris Trophy, top defenseman. Almost kind of the most points by defenseman, but not entirely. They haven't stated that, but we kind of know that's the way it
Generally
goes
is.
for the most part. But
Most of the guys putting
basically,
up the
best
most
trophy.
points usually aren't too bad defensively, so it's easy to give it to them. Or if they are bad defensively, like in Eric Carlson's case, he puts up 100 points and is kind of undeniable for it. Like there was
Yeah,
talk about him being a Hart finalist.
yeah. And
So
obviously with this, can't go with a Kale McCarr because it won it last year, obviously. So, um, you're first on this one, actually.
I am first, and I have Quinn Hughes. I think he is going not only going to win it. I think, I mean, you can't pick Kale McCarr, but I assume he's going to do well. But I think he's going to edge out McCarr on it, and then I think those two are just going to leave everyone else in the dust. I think defenseman scoring is going to be Werenski, Bouchard are around 80, maybe 85 points. I think both of the other two are going to be flirting with 100. I think one of them might hit it. And yeah, I think Quinn Hughes is he was so good last year before that injury. I do think they would have made the playoffs and he would have won the Hart if he didn't go down.
They'd
His
help him.
his offensive numbers were great, but his defense numbers were staggeringly good too. Like he
It's
was
on a bad Canucks team too. Like
it was
it's
wild
awful.
looking at some of the graphics where it's like this is them with him on the ice, this is him without. And like they look like a legit like cup contender with him on the ice and like their numbers are like comparable to Buffalo without him. Like
Yeah, the team
it's
looks kind of lost when he's not on
crazy.
the ice or not even on the bench or anything. Like it's he is the core of that team, absolutely.
And I
That
believe
pick makes a lot of sense.
he's coming up on a contract year next season. So
He's eligible for an extension July 1st. I'm
so
pretty sure.
if
Something to
he
think
if he
about.
wants to extend, you have I mean, he's going to get the sun and the moon already, but you have another season to really establish your spot and blank check.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that pick. I debated on going with Quinn Hughes quite a bit. But I've been
Oh, I thought you
saying
did.
this. I didn't. Because I've been saying this since middle of the offseason, actually basically the beginning since free agency. And I'm just gonna stick with it. I'm going with Adam Fox. Uh,
It's a good
Strictly
pick.
because is he this beast defensively? A lot of fans like to say so, but players kind of feel the other way. At the end of the day, doesn't matter. It comes down to points mostly, and he's got Gavrikov beside him now, and it's by far the best defensive partner Adam Fox has gotten in his
Yeah.
entire career. We know that the Rangers are obviously kind of looking to get it, a little bit younger, and you know, kind of trying to do a small, little, tiny retool on the fly. I think having a guy like Mike Sullivan in there is going to be huge for Adam Fox. A little bit of change of scenery, and you know, forget the last couple years and just focus on now moving forward. So I think he's going to be in a really good spot mentally, but also in terms of what's on the ice because you're going to be playing with Gavrikov, who again is more than he could have ever hoped for to have as a defensive partner going into this year, and it kind of fell right into his lap. So I think he's going to take advantage of the kind of free reign he's going to get on the offense, and
Yeah. You know what?
it's going to
That's
work out
actually a
well
really
for him, I
good
think.
pick. I like that.
Because I was
Adam
between him
Fox,
and kind of Quinn Hughes a little bit. Actually, I almost thought
yeah,
Rasmus Dahlin, but I can
that's not
only
a bad
glaze
pick.
Buffalo so much. So
I was tempted to go with Werenski, but I ended up don't overthink it. Go with Quinn Hughes. And then I
Yeah.
overthought it anyway, but we'll get to that. Um, Adam Fox is such a weird player for me, just
Really is.
because I remember like in like 20, 19, 2020, 2021, everyone started talking about him like he was so good, and I thought he was so overrated. I was like, guys, he's good, but like people are talking about him. It's a top 3 defense, but he's not that good. And I thought it was a total fluke he won the Norris. And then like a year or two later, I was like, okay, like no, he's clearly established. He's like a solid top guy in the league, and like but I thought he was an offense. I thought he was Eric Carlson, right? I thought it was points, no defense. He was playing good defense. I finally started to realize, okay, he actually plays some pretty decent defense. And all of a sudden, everyone's going, oh, by the way, he sucks at defense. Like, I feel like people are just changing the narrative just to fuck with my brain. I don't know who this player is at this point.
I think a big part of it was how much he got targeted by Canada in the Four Nations.
Mm, right.
Um, like he wasn't playing with Jacob Slavin, so let's not use that argument of, well, of course we're not going to go Slavin side. I can't remember who Fox was necessarily playing with, but they were kind of targeting him, and it was kind of their mission to take it up his side because they felt more comfortable in one-on-one situations with him and stuff like that. And again, for wherever people want to rank Adam Fox, whatever they want to say, that's fine. But all I can say is I do still think he is a good defenseman for everything for what it's worth, and I think he's in line for a big season here with Gavrikov. Look at Brent Burns. We thought he was, well, we knew already how good a Brent Burns was, and all this. And when did he finally win the Norris? When the Sharks grabbed Paul Martin and brought him in, and Burns finally had a solid defenseman beside him, and that kind of gave him the reins to go with it. Look at Eric Carlson in Ottawa. They bring in Mark Mathot beside him. Mark Mathot was an average defenseman at the time, I would say. Like, we know how good he ended up turning and being in Ottawa, but it wasn't like his was massive get for Ottawa, but it allowed Eric Carlson to get up more in the offense and produce points. And then it worked out really well. Like, sometimes that's all you need. Look at Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes, Devon Toews and Philip Perona come in. Adam Fox has never really had that partner.
Yeah.
Kind of that allows him to just go out there and ball out.
Was he playing with Keandre
Ryan
Miller?
Lindgren, maybe Keandre Miller. Like, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
no Gavrikov, definitely. I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely not. So I do like that pick.
I mean, I'm excited for what the Rangers could potentially do this year, because it's kind of a little bit unpredictable with them, because just have no clue where we're heading. What's next up here on?
I think we should do the Vezina, and then we'll go and do the Ted, Lindsay, and Hart after that.
Okay.
Kind of save those two for last.
Yeah. The Vezina Trophy, I was debating between a couple guys. Obviously, can't go with Hellebuck after winning the last two. We can't even pick Hellebuck for the Hart, so
he's off the table tough for him.
I'm sticking with the Rangers. I'm going with Igor Shesterkin. I think the Rangers do. Actually, I don't think I had the Rangers making the playoffs.
Well, that means surely you're going to be right on either your team placing predictions or the awards.
Damn, I didn't think. Yeah, well, I got to stick with it now. I'm going with Igor Shesterkin. It was between him, Vasilevsky, and Ottinger. And I just feel like Shesterkin coming in with this new big contract. The Rangers are going to, they're going to kind of have that mentality. They have a lot to prove. And trying to get back into it. And again, I think the additions of having JT Miller for a full year now, we know how good defensively he is, with Gavrikov,
how good he can
just be. All that. You usually don't win the Vezina if you miss the playoffs. So I'm going to be wrong on one of the two, maybe both, but Yeah, it was just kind of seemed like the Rangers got quite a bit better defensively, and again, we know how good Shesterkin can be. So,
Yeah.
whereas Vasilevsky in a great spot, didn't go with Ottinger in the end just because I'm still not loving the right side of Dallas's blue line.
Yeah.
So that kind of scared me away from there. But for what
Yeah.
it's worth, I picked UC Saros last year, so can't do much worse than that.
Yeah. Did
Like
we
literally
both
can't do
pick
worse than that.
did we both pick Saros last year?
I don't know who you picked, but I
I
sure
I
did.
either picked Saros last season or the season before. I know I've definitely picked him at least one of these times. You know what? That just shows we're at least respecting him.
Yeah.
And then he puts up a season like he did last year.
So
Um,
he was still decent last year, though. It's just the team in
uh,
front of him was ass.
I mean, his stats don't look good, but that's because of
Yeah,
what everything that went on, right?
because everything
Yeah,
in front was just ass. It's just
brutal.
awful.
Um, I did a lot of similar thinking, except I ended up going with Andrei Vasilevsky. Um, I believe that's my only homer pick. That's my only lightning pick. So
Wow.
I was like, I don't wanna bog it down with a bunch of them. I couldn't even pick Kucherov for the Art Ross. I was like, you know what? Vasi was coming off of a rehabbing summer last year. He put up some pretty average numbers in the first month and still ended the season at like a 920 something. So he was really good throughout the rest of the season, and I I just think with another off season to keep rehabbing and maintaining himself, he's going to be lights out again.
Long off season.
Long off season, longer than he's used
Sorry,
to for sure.
had to throw that in there.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, that's he was kind of right who I was there going back and forth um with Igor. It almost kind of came down to a coin flip, and basically, the main thing was
Yeah.
just I think how much better, like who's going to be the better team overall. Tampa, and I don't even think that's even a debate. I don't even think it's close. But it's more so that the Rangers actively made their team better defensively, whereas I don't think they
Yeah.
really helped themselves offensively as much. So, yeah,
They definitely showed
that's
up
kind
on
of
the
just the way that
defense.
I was leaning there again. I think both are probably going to be finalists, probably both of them and Hellebuck, honestly. Like that's
Strong
that's
possibility.
kind of where we're at now. We know there's good goalies of Ilya Sorokin, who in terms of overall like talent could easily make the argument he is the best
Yeah.
goalie in terms of just raw talent. UC Saros, we know how good he can be. Jake Ottinger, Thatcher Demko, all of these guys. But it kind of feels like it's just this three-headed
Stolars, if he
dragon
gets
of
if Stolars can play the way he did last year over more games, like I
yeah,
think he ended with the season with a higher save percentage than Hellebuck. It's just he
yeah.
had like 25, 30 less games. Like I think he
And
had
you've
like a
got your
927.
yeah. Like if he plays a full season, I mean, you know, Jeremy Swayman is on a bad team. I think he's gonna have a great year, Linus Allmark, and then you've got the Dustin Wolves, the Lucas Dostals, kind of the younger guys. But it just kind of feels like right now it's like a three-headed dragon when you're talking about goalies that
Yeah.
it's like someone's got to force their way in there because the three at the top aren't going to be coming down. Someone's got to force themselves up into that group. And haven't seen it yet. So right now you're kind of like, yeah, with the Vezina, it's you pick one of the
It's
three. We
it's
can't pick
pretty
one of
tight.
them because they won it last year. So
Yeah.
I'm at least glad we didn't even split.
Yeah. And you know what? Just because we were mentioning goalies, we should throw in Sergei Bobrovsky. I don't think he's
Well, Bobrovsky.
exactly a front runner for the Vesna because, you know, Barkov might be hurt for some time. We know Kachuk is going to be out for some time. Uh, they have a great team defensively, but they're playing to make the playoffs and then perform once they get in the
Well,
playoffs. So they're
I think
not
it's
really
also kind of
looking
like
for
what
regular
you
season. He's aging. There's a
so
couple of
the
reasons
starts
not
aren't
to
going to
pick
be
him, but
quite there. Yeah, because the starts aren't going to be there as much. They're going to give him a little
yeah,
bit more rest, I think, throughout the race. Because again, you got to think like three straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals for Florida. Like that's a lot of hockey for them. That's a lot of extra mileage on these players. Shorter off seasons, especially the last couple years, like they haven't quite got the rest. So, and yeah, with Bobrovsky, where he's starting to get up there in age as a goalie, you probably want to give him a little bit more rest than you normally would, because again, they don't care about the regular season.
Yeah, they care about making the playoffs, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's all that matters. What was the next one?
So
on the list,
I believe
the Ted Lindsay.
Yeah, I believe all we have left are the Lindsay, the Hart, and then the Jack Adams, Presidents, Stanley Cup, and Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
So let's go with, which do you want to do first? The Ted Lindsay or the Hart?
Let's do the Ted Lindsay, because I think overall the Ted Lindsay is probably the more meaningful trophy, but the NHL doesn't seem to view it that way. They market the Hart as the big one, but the Ted Lindsay means more.
Yeah, I definitely would agree on that. I'm always thinking that when people talk about, the Hart is like the big trophy, it's like the Ted Lindsay, it comes from the players, and it's also just the award, voted on as who's the best, not who helped their team the most in a like somewhat arbitrary kind of like, oh, this guy.
Exactly.
Like, are we talking about what team would be most screwed without this guy, or are we talking strictly about like wins above replacement kind of guy? So it's gotten to the point where it's a bit of a weird conversation, but
100%.
For the Ted Lindsay, I have a repeat winner on here. Not that they've won in the past or last year, but a repeat guy from my list already. I have the hopefully Norris winner in Quinn Hughes.
Wow. Okay.
I
just got to adjust
Quinn
something,
Hughes,
but just tell me I can still hear. Just give me your reasoning, though.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you, though.
I think Quinn Hughes is just going to have a monster season. I think he is going to go off. I think he is going to drag Vancouver to the playoffs. I think that he is going to have the most points for a defenseman. I think his defensive analytics are still going to stand up, and he's going to do it with, a decent supporting cast, but nothing like a lot of the other award winners we have here. So, and he's got Hronik with him, but like that's really, he's got that as his defensive partner, but he doesn't have a ton of scoring and stuff otherwise. They got a decent first power play unit, but other than that, it's the Quinn Hughes show in Vancouver.
I actually like that pick a lot. I like that you went with with a defenseman for the Ted Lindsay. I too went with a defenseman for the Ted Lindsay this year. I didn't go with Quinn Hughes. I went with Cale Makar for it.
Right. I'm just glad he didn't say
right
Adam Fox for it.
Yeah, no. Oh fuck no. No.
But you think he's going to win the Norris over a Ted Lindsay, Cale Makar? You're crazy.
Well, I couldn't pick Cale Makar, though.
You couldn't pick Cale Makar.
I couldn't pick him for the Norris.
So you have to assume he's going to be bad this year.
No, because he's probably going to win the Norris. Let's be real. I think Cale Makar's getting into the point of his career now where we could be looking at the end of the season, and it's a 30-goal season, 100-point season. And I think as a defenseman, if you're getting to that point, and again, the big thing is being in the playoffs too, which I think Colorado will. I think the players are going to be like, holy shit. Like, yeah, we know Nathan McKinnon's good. He's won all this. He's done it all. But like for a defenseman to be doing that kind of stuff and playing as good as he is defensively, like I know people love to shit on Makar and he's an offensive defenseman. He plays solid defense. Like,
yeah, he
plays very good defensively. And if you're putting up those kind of numbers and whatnot, I think players are going to look there and be like, fuck, how do you not? Like, do you just go at the same McKinnon, McDavid, Kucherov that we've been doing the last, 4 or 5 years? Or look at what this defenseman's doing and kind of setting the new norm for these elite defensemen. It's almost kind of similar, I think, to like a Hellebuck Hart win last year, where it's
Yeah.
something kind of new, it's something kind of fun, and guys are like, I mean, fuck, do we just go with the same guys, or like this guy deserves it? Let's give it to him. Let's not just give it to the same
Well,
guys. So I
at the
could
same
see
time,
that.
they gave the who is it? The GMs or the Writers Association, whoever votes on the Hart, gave it to Hellebuck. He wasn't even a final three finalist for the Ted Lindsay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
and
always feel like goalies are a bit weird in
goalies are
there.
very different from defensemen in that category for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's kind of my thing with it. Yeah,
I was
was
thinking like I wasn't thinking about doing it, but I did think it would be funny if, you can't pick repeats. So you pick somebody else to win the Hart, somebody else to win the Vezina, but then you still pick Hellebuck for the Ted Lindsay. And you're like, he's gonna have a monster year. I just can't pick him for the other
yeah, just
ones.
can't pick them for the other ones. I do like that we both kind of went off the board with a defenseman because is it going to be a forward that wins it? Probably. Like let's be real, it's probably going to just go to a forward again. But I want to
Generally.
believe that we're slowly, players are being more vocal that they want a defensive defenseman award. We're now seeing a goalie finally, win the Vezina again in this day and age and kind of setting that new norm. Or Hart
The Hart.
Trophy.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of on the belief that, hey, you know what? Maybe a defenseman can win the Ted Lindsay. I don't think it's as crazy as when I said Ovi last year, which I still stand
No,
by
this
that
is
because
much more likely.
Ovi did exactly what I said he needed to do, and he would win it, and he still didn't because he broke the record. He was up there in the race for the Rocket, and the Capitals made the playoffs and
But
damn near won the President's Trophy.
he
Like,
didn't even hit like 75 points, did he?
it doesn't matter. It was all about setting the goals record and Caps making the playoffs. That was all. That's all it was about
Yeah.
for me. Um, but yeah, I really like those picks by both of us. I think they're fun. I think they're out there a bit, and
Yeah.
maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe if we're tied, maybe that would be our tiebreaker. Whoever got more Ted Lindsay votes between these two.
Okay. I don't mind
I feel
that.
like maybe puts you at a bit of a disadvantage because I just went with, the undisputed
Or we could
goat
go
of
with
defense right now. But
the Stanley Cup, like whichever team
one more
got further in the
games.
playoffs,
I like
assuming
that.
neither of
Actually,
ours
I like
wins.
that. Yeah,
Assuming we also
yeah,
have different picks.
I like that.
Uh the Hart. Um for all the
The
same
heart.
reasons, I have Quinn Hughes winning the Hart Trophy as well. I
Damn.
I think I think Quinn Hughes is going to take home 3 awards. I think he's going to go nuclear. I didn't think about it for too long, but I did consider putting his name down beside Art Ross. But then I was like, okay, that seems a bit much.
Yeah,
But
that's that's a bit
but
much.
if he
Hey, you still
stays
pick the
healthy the
Hughes
whole
though.
year, yeah, that's true. And if he has a fully healthy season, and especially if a guy like Pedersen, like he was doing that when last season when
The team was in
Miller
fucking turmoil.
the team was in shambles. Pedersen was non-existent. Miller was doing okay. He was playing as like a top 6 forward, but not even close to what Miller does. If Pedersen bounces back, and I'm thinking he might this year, I'm feeling optimistic about him. I think Quinn Hughes breaks 100 points and
Well,
has
and
great defensive metrics.
for what it's worth, I don't think this is necessarily the full thing, but the hiring of Adam Foote as head coach was kind of a Quinn Hughes hire. It was kind of a hire made to appease Quinn Hughes and be like, this is a guy that you can run with going forward here. And Quinn Hughes is obviously very excited about that, and I think that could definitely play a big part in
Who was their head coach
him
last
having a
year?
monster year.
Was
Rick
it Tocchet?
Tocchet. Yeah.
He's pretty heavily a defense first coach as well, so they might open it up for him a little bit. And
Yeah.
I think he's smart enough to not let his to know how important he is on defense as well. He won't let his defensive numbers slide very much.
Well, that's the thing that makes him and Kale McCarr so elite is how good their skating is. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's I think what separates the kind of that top brass of I'm not going to say Adam Fox in this, but like a Kale McCarr, Quinn Hughes, Miro Heiskanen, Rasmus Dahlin, and maybe Zach Grensky. But the thing with those guys is how
Yeah.
good their skating is. you talk about them. One of the number one things you talk about them is how good their skating is, and because that allows them to get up in the rush, make things happen, but they can also get back. Whereas you look at sorry to say, but Evan Bouchard, we know how good he is offensively, but if he
Yeah.
makes a bad turnover, he can't get back in time. Whereas these other guys have good enough skating, they can quickly turn around, they can get back, break up plays, get in lanes, and do all this stuff. And that's what helps make them these elite defensemen is their offensive skill, but also how good their skating is to allow them to be all over the place and be a factor in every area of the game.
Like, I know that technology as far as like skates and sticks has evolved, but like it genuinely feels like there's these, 10 or less guys in the world who have just literally went into the menus and turned on a cheat code. Um I think it was like
Yeah.
2 or 3 nights ago. I went to the preseason game, Calgary
Oh
versus
yeah.
Seattle. And there was one moment where Zane Perek was playing and he turned it over at the blue line and he looked as lazy as I've seen a player in a long time. And this guy's busting his ass and he just stayed with him the whole way. Like he almost looked vertical. He wasn't taking many strides. This other guy is skating like a horse and he just kept up with him the whole way. And I was like, he's just gliding forward and I don't understand how. Like
Yeah.
he's speed hacking on the ice. Like some of these guys are just they whatever they do. I'd love to know what they're doing on a micro scale to be able to get that speed in so few strides. But yeah, the skating, especially for defensemen, is so important nowadays. Like,
It,
before it
it,
was
it
just,
really is.
you know, like, oh, who are the best players in the league? Guys like Crosby, Ovechkin. Well, they're good skaters, but like they were never touted as like these next level skaters. I guess Crosby was uh pretty good, but not in the same way, a guy like McDavid or even a Nathan McKinnon or something. Like so many of them are so good at skating now that it makes it almost impossible for other guys to even try and make the moves that they would normally make.
Hmm. Yeah, like 100%. It's a big thing for defensemen. And that's again, what helps kind of separate them from the pack. Um, I still haven't even thrown out my heart
Right.
pick here. Um, I'm going with a guy you may like, you may not like. Not talking about like you, but I'm just talking about
Oh,
the
okay.
general public. You may like him, you may dislike him, but there's no denying he's a top three player in the game. Nikita Kucherov. Um, it's kind of a long shot because they just seem to not fucking want to give him a Hart Trophy no matter what he does.
I was gonna say
But
bold
I
to
feel
give
like
him the
it's gonna
heart and
happen.
not the Ted Lindsay, but
Like I couldn't give him the Ted Lindsay.
you couldn't give him. You're right. See,
Couldn't
you're
couldn't
paying
give
more
it to him
attention than I
even.
am.
Yeah. Um, I mean, fuck. What more does this guy have to do? Like genuinely, he could go out there and put up 50 goals, 100 assists, and they still might not even give it to him just because it's Nikita Kucherov. But I think you know what the dam's finally going to break this year. I think they're going to realize this guy's undeniably a top three player. I mean, we already know he is. I think everybody knows, but for some reason they don't want to give him his flowers. And I just got that feeling that Tampa's going to come into this year long, fresh off season. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to be out for blood after the last couple years, and they're going to want to make a statement. And um, yeah, I think Nikita Kucherov's in for another monster season as we've seen previously, and I just feel like that it's his time to finally get another heart here.
Hey, you
I
know
don't think
what?
they're going to want to vote him in for it, but I think that it's just going to be undeniable by the end of the year.
Hey, you know what? From your lips to God's ears, right? I would love nothing more than to see that. And it it was really weird because the other day I went on the Lightning's YouTube channel and just watched a ton of their like preseason and training camp interviews with a lot of the guys. It's literally since we won the cup in 2021, I don't think I've seen Kucherov smile as much as he did in that video. Just talking about getting back into playing against other NHL players. he's usually he's a really serious guy, and but he was smiling like almost like a weird amount, almost like you're
It
watching
wasn't normal.
Psycho or something.
Yeah.
So
He's
I
got a
don't
good
know.
attitude. He's ready to go.
He's feeling good. You know who wasn't smiling too much? Vasilevsky, which I do enjoy because when he gets pissed off, he is
He's locked in.
almost unbeatable. Almost every question they asked him, he's like, "Nah, well, we'll see how it goes in the playoffs. We're gonna do it to win, and
Yeah,
we're gonna do it in the playoffs." Dude's dialed.
absolutely. And the last of the individual awards here, the Jack Adams Trophy given to the top head coach or the best head coach, as voted across the league in the regular season. I'm first in this one.
Go for it.
I did
I
change
think we
mine
have the
last
same one.
second before. We might. Actually, I think we probably do. Um, Originally, I just had in brackets. I just said whoever replaces Lindy Ruff. But I went away from that because that's not picking a real name, and I did pick Buffalo to make the playoffs, so they got to start off strong. If they
Pete,
start off
yeah,
strong,
Pete DeBoer's
Lindy
gonna get
Ruff
him there.
ain't getting Lindy Ruff ain't getting the boot here. So I did switch it up in the end. I went over to a team that I think for the first time in franchise history is going to make the playoffs. That is the Utah Mammoth. So I'm going with
Oh,
Andre Tourney.
okay, that's actually a good pick. I was like, this guy hates the Kraken. There's no way he's picking the Kraken. They've even made the playoffs. I wasn't even thinking about Utah.
Andre
I
Tourney,
actually
I
like that.
think. I think he's just in a spot where there's going to be a lot of good teams making the playoffs, but I think it's going to be a lot of the same teams, and they're going to be like, you know what? Look at this guy. He's been there. He's grinded out with this team. He's finally propped them up and got them to the playoffs. And I think they do actually play a really good system there in Utah. And it's going to be one of those ones where they're like, hey, you know what? He finally got them to the dance here, and he's going to get rewarded for it. Because I always like to give it to those kind of coaches as opposed to the John Coopers that set these records or shit
Unless
like
they
that,
like,
right? Like,
like the Bruins when they had 65 wins in a season. Like, unless it's like otherworldly, yeah, they don't just give it to, they didn't give it to whoever was head coach in the Jets last year. So
yeah, surely the Bees won the cup that year.
surely, yeah, they didn't create a
Surely.
monster. That's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah, they didn't create a monster and then go into a fucking rebuild or retool. Sorry,
They would
retool.
they would leave somebody to terrorize the Lightning as soon as they finally fall off. God, the Bruins
So
suck.
that's so Boston. It's so Boston.
It's so Boston of them. Um, I also went with Alex. Is it Torigny?
Andre Tourney.
Andre.
I think Tourney.
Alex Tanguay is going to win the Jack Adams. Um, I I also changed my answer pretty late, like right before we started recording. I'm interested to know who you changed your answer from because we had the same answer here. Did we both change it from Mike
Mine was
Sullivan?
just no. Mine was just in brackets. Whoever replaces Lindy Ruff. It
Oh,
wasn't even
right.
it wasn't even Lindy Ruff wins. It's just whoever replaces him. But if I'm a believer in Buffalo, I'm a believer in them making the playoffs. They're probably not firing him because
I could
then
see them
they'd start
firing
off so
him,
shit and they'd be done.
picking up Peter DeBoer, and
I mean, maybe, but I believe Buffalo's going to start hot out of the gate, and if they do,
oh, you're crazy.
Lindy's a safe boy there. He's a
That's the
good boy.
craziest thing. That's the craziest prediction you've said. Buffalo's going to have a good start to the year. I'll believe it when I see it.
But yeah, I did end up going with Tourney. It made a lot of
Yeah,
sense for,
yeah. I think
but
I had
yeah,
Utah like third in the Central or fourth in the Central or something in our
they get him
predictions.
fourth.
I had them. I had them up there for sure. Yeah, they would have been fourth. I don't think I'd put them above the Avs or probably not the Jets. I don't know.
You had the Jets 3, I know for sure.
Okay, yeah. Then I would have had them
Or
fourth.
no, maybe I had the Jets 3. Maybe you. Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. Fuck. So many teams, I can't keep track.
I think you had Jets, Avs. I had Avs, Jets.
I had Jets 3. I know because I'd Avs 2, and then I had
Okay, yeah. And then
Stars 1.
I had it reversed. Yeah, because we both had the Stars at first.
Yeah. Yeah, they make the playoffs. I feel like he's kind of a lock to be a finalist.
Yeah,
Probably wins, maybe.
maybe. Kind of depends how the
Maybe.
Ducks do as well
You know what?
with
We should probably
Quenneville.
just send him an apology right now for getting him fired. Because our
Yeah,
Jack Adams picks do not do not go well at all.
those were brutal. Was that 2 seasons ago where both of our picks were like both fired in the first 2 months of the season?
I can't remember who you had picked.
I think I had whoever was coaching the Oilers. Was that
Well, because I
Woodcroft?
had Jay Woodcroft.
You had Woodcroft. Who would I
I
have
can't
had?
remember who you had.
Was he? Would I have picked Bannister on the Blues, or was that even the same season?
No, because Bannister was just last. Who did you pick?
Did I pick Bruce Cassidy?
You might
Did that
have.
happen the same year?
No, that was the
You
year
know what? I think it's on the same notes
before.
here, actually. I think I have
I'm
all my
curious
past
now.
ones.
Because 2 years ago, both the coaches we picked for Jack
Craig
Adams got fired.
Berube.
It was okay, so it was Berube. Okay. Because you're okay. I was wondering, but I wasn't sure if that was the year he got canned. So 2 years ago I picked Jay Woodcroft, you picked Craig Berube. They were the first two head coaches fired. So
Yeah. And it wasn't even Berube doing a bad job. It was just Jim Montgomery was available, and they were like, "We're jumping on this."
we kind of picked Sheldon Keefe. Well, we both picked Sheldon Keefe last year because that pick was kind of bulletproof. We were like,
Like
he's got a good
90%
chance of
of
winning,
people picked him.
and he's not going to get fired. We're not going to get this man fired. So,
Yeah,
but
it would
this
have been a
year,
little funny.
Tourney, I don't know, maybe like start grinding out some game plan because you've got the stick 'em up curse on you. So get your shit figured out.
Maybe in Utah, pressure creates diamonds.
I like that. Now all we got left here is the team awards. We've got the President's Trophy and then the Stanley Cup. And along with the Stanley Cup, we're going to do a fun little prediction for 9 months in advance on who we think is going to win the Conn Smythe with that team. President's
We should
Trophy,
get money if we get that right. Like we should get paid if we get that right. You know,
someone will pay us. Someone out there will pay us.
Yeah.
They'll come forward and be like, "I'll pay you."
I guess I'm just describing sports gambling. Do we want to start with the President's Trophy?
You got to start with the Presidents. Guys,
All right.
Presidents, work away to the big one. The team that you have for the Presidents, what letter does the city start with?
You will immediately know what team it is.
Okay. We'll say it.
A V.
Oh, wow. Holy fuck.
Or maybe it's an L, depending on who you ask. The Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Wow. I went with team in the East.
Hurricanes.
There you go. Carolina Hurricanes. I was between them and I was. You didn't pick Vegas to finish first in the Pacific even. So you got one wrong there because that was my struggle. I was looking, I was like, I can only pick between these four teams, and so I was just basically like, who's got the best chance? And I was between Vegas and Carolina, but I went with Carolina. But I'll let you explain your Vegas reasoning first here.
Well, they're not running with Stuart Skinner as their starter. Of course, they're going to win more games. Wow, that was rough in the predictions over there. I feel better about this one. But, I mean, they were already a great team. What did they lose this offseason? Like, I guess Pietrangelo. Nicholas Waugh. But
was like a third line center that can be replaced. As good as he was,
yeah,
it can be replaced. Like that is not something that you're one. Oh,
they already have a guy like William Karlsson.
Yeah,
like
you've got Jack Eichel,
Thomas Hertl anyway.
William Karlsson. Yeah, your money. So really, you lost Pietrangelo, but you got Mitch Marner.
You got Mitch Marner. You also brought in, who are they bringing on defense from Nashville?
Jeremy Lauzon.
Like they've got
to just go out there and just throw the body.
They got a couple extra guys coming in. They really didn't lose anybody despite paying everybody all the money.
Yeah. They got Riley Smith back.
And
They were to
the
keep him
Pacific
around.
also looks like a weaker division. So
Really weak.
assuming that the Oilers don't steamroll, which with their goaltending probably won't happen. Maybe, I don't know. They're good for like a 15-game win streak every season.
Yeah, I mean,
I
because
feel
you've
like
got the
Vegas is poised to be just a force once again.
like I think Calgary's still going to be solid. I think Anaheim's going to be solid. I think Vancouver, but Vegas is still going to play them 4 times. You're gonna get at least 2 wins out of each team, probably 3. There's a very good chance you just win all 4 against San Jose and Seattle. Like that's very possible. Like they can stack up some wins against weak division opponents if they get the luxury of playing 4 times each. So I like that pick.
And you know what? The Kings even took a bit of a step back. Like they're the Pacific, especially compared to like the Atlantic and the Central, is really weak over there. So I think they're gonna rack up
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. I was very close to going with them. I went with the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, great regular season team the last how many years? Playoff results not quite there, but you've got like your talent up front. Like I don't even need to go into it. Their talent on the forwards is incredible. Their blue line, I mean, you got the huge addition now full time of Alexander Nikoshin coming in. We know how good he's. It's looking like he could be, and running that top power play. You've still got Jacob Slavin. You've still got pretty much all the guys you had last year, minus Brent Burns, but you've got Nikoshin to fill that void. You've got Keandre Miller, where I think he got fleeced in the trade. I think he got fleeced in the contract, but he's still going to be a very serviceable defenseman for you, and he's not going to hurt you. You're fine there. Goaltending's a bit iffy, but you know what? If Freddie Anderson can stay healthy, if they can even just run a tandem, they're going to be just fine because the defense in front of them is still going to be good.
If they really want to win the cup this year, the first spot that they're upgrading is probably in net as well. So if a goalie that's pretty good becomes available, they might be one of the first teams calling. So
yeah, and they've got lots of draft picks stocked up from their own from Dallas. They've got a lot of prospects that aren't even in the NHL yet that they could move out if they want to beef up their team now if there's a hole that needs to be filled. They've got the piece in place. They can improve their team on the go. And Rod Brendamore, say what you want about him. He's still a great head coach. Yeah, I feel like the team's in a good spot here to thrive in the regular season at least. Playoffs, different story, but
and there's guys like Stankoven and Jackson Blake, that are not only going to be better than last season, most likely, probably get better throughout the season. So yeah, they're
continue to improve.
It really feels like the Atlantic division is such a dogfight that it's like almost impossible to pick anyone from that division to win the Presidents. And yeah, like Carolina seems like the only real choice in the East. And then there's, maybe 3 or 4 that you could pick from the West, but most of them are fighting each other in the Central. So yeah, I think we both have a really solid chance at being right on that one.
I think so. And then to wrap it up here, to wrap up the episode here, lastly, we have our Stanley Cup winner predictions, and again with it, we are predicting our Conn Smythe winner. I guess I'll go first for this one. You went first for the last one.
Yeah, you better.
I've done it before. I did at the start of the playoffs last year. I'm doing it again. 3rd time's the charm. I'm going with the Dallas Stars. I think they're kind of running back for the most part the same team, but I think they're at a spot now where they know
Pretty
that
much.
you got to do something to the right side of the blue line. That is going to be addressed, but in the meantime, you do have Heiskanen, you got Lindell, you got Harley, you got Liam Bichelle, who looked great. You can work with that. Your forward core from top to bottom is just gross. Whatever way you put it, whatever way you want to put up the forwards, and for Jamie Benn, scary issue with the collapsed lung. Thankfully, it got caught enough early, back in, timeline of about 4 weeks, which is incredible. Hope he's doing good. He's going to come back. He's going to be great. The goaltending, frankly, on top is great.
Some rest for him might not be bad either. Like he's getting up there.
A little bit of extra rest, most definitely. And you got to keep Matt Duchene, who I thought they're going to lose, and He's great. Wyatt Johnson is only getting better. You're going to have a full season out of Mikko Rantanen, who hoping he can get that consistency going that wasn't quite there in the playoffs. And for the Conn Smythe winner for the Dallas Stars, I'm going to go with the boy who is going to sign a massive extension during the regular season, Jason Robertson.
Oh, okay.
Jason Robertson is going to get a nice, fresh contract to stick around with the Dallas Stars. He will not be traded, and he will explode in the playoffs and win the Conn Smythe. Lock it in.
I thought you were, especially saying about the extension, I thought you were leading into saying Thomas Harley, who was my second pick for the Conn Smythe, because I also have the Dallas Stars winning the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
But Harley was my second pick, because for my first pick for the Conn Smythe, I am going with Mikko Rantanen. I think he's going to be able to pull it together. I mean, obviously, consistency was a bit of an issue in the playoffs last year, but I mean, we
know how good he can.
He can just win you a series single-handedly. Like, he just bent the Avs over on his own in the final 10 minutes of a game and won it. Like,
yeah.
Unreal.
And then he got to shake their hands afterwards and say, thanks for letting me do that. What a dog.
What a savage, dude.
What a stud. That
was some of the most fun I've ever had watching a team that wasn't either like Team Canada or the Lightning. That night was that's like the top 5 drunkest I've ever been was earlier that day. And I was like showering and trying to deal with that. And then I turned on the game with like 12 minutes left and got to watch all of it happen. And I'm like wasted in the shower cheering on Rantanen. Oh,
that was an incredible game. It truly was. And yeah, I almost kind of thought with Rantanen, but people love me. I love to just get in there with the players that are going to sign big extensions and on contract years. And I think Jason Robertson's going to get signed. He's going to be pumped to be a Dallas Star, and he's going to go out there and prove, this is why you paid me. This is why I'm one of the best in the world. And I mean, let's be real. It's probably Florida that wins the Cup, but hey, we can't pick them. So Dallas.
Yeah.
But that does bring us to the end of this episode. We have gone over all the awards. If you would like to let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to win awards, or just give us your thoughts on who we predicted. What would you change? What do you like? What do you dislike? You can do so through any of our socials. They are down below. Across all episodes, across all platforms. Braden, bit of a shorter one, but we kept it condensed. We kept it precise on what we wanted to do. And we're going to have a lot of news and whatnot coming out of the weekend, going into next week. And, we're just starting to ramp up into the regular season. But before we go, you know what time it is. Everybody else at home knows what time it is. Everybody in their car knows what time it is. Everybody in their shower knows what time it is. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Lock it in. Quinn Hughes is going to break 100 points this upcoming season. He's going to win the Norris and other awards, whether it's the Hart, the Lindsay, or both. I think he's going to go absolutely nuclear. And he's a fun as hell player to watch, so I'm very excited for it.
I like that. I'm a big Quinn Hughes fan, and so if that'll happen, I'm all for it. But that does it for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed one final time. And as always, we will see all of you out on the ice next week.